Hey there. You ever walk into school thinking it's just another normal day? That your biggest worry is finishing your homework before math class? Well, imagine walking into school, and by the end of the day, you're the center of the cruelest joke anyone's pulled this semester. That's what happened to Lana. You won't believe what some people will do just to feel powerful for a moment. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Now, picture this. It started with a crowded hallway, lockers slamming, students buzzing between classes. Lana walked with her head low, arms wrapped tightly around her books as if she could shield herself from the stares that followed her. She always kept a hoodie on, and no one really questioned why. But that day, it slipped. One careless bump, one split second, and the hood fell back. Gasps spread like wildfire. Someone pointed. Phones were out before she could even turn away. Lana's scalp, smooth and bare, caught the cold sting of judgment in the air. And Sierra? Oh, she saw an opportunity. The kind of girl who feeds on spectacle. She strutted up like a queen, ready to make her coronation moment. With an exaggerated laugh and a flip of her hair, she snatched Lana's wig off the floor, as if it were garbage holding it up for the crowd like a trophy. Lana froze, not because she was weak, but because when humiliation strikes in a place you thought was safe, it's paralyzing. The whole burst into laughter. And Sierra? She walked away, victorious. Or so she thought. Because no one knew the truth about Lana. Not yet. Sierra didn't think twice. The smirks, the whispers, the looks of approval from her entourage all fed her. She wasn't just mocking Lana. She was curating a performance, something she could relish in for days. By the time lunch came, a photo of Lana's exposed scalp had already made the rounds. Edited, filtered, captioned. Some laughed, some scrolled past, but no one stopped it. And Sierra? She sat at her usual table, surrounded by those who laughed the loudest, sipping her iced coffee like nothing happened, her crown untouchable. But life, as it turns out, has a cruel sense of irony. That afternoon, Sierra was picked up early. A text from her mom. 4 words. We're going to see Aubrey. She hadn't visited in weeks. The hospital smelled like sterilized sadness. Walls painted in soft pastels couldn't hide the weight in the air. Sierra walked through the pediatric oncology wing like a stranger. Her pace slowed as she passed quiet rooms. Rooms filled with parents pretending to be strong, children too tired to cry, and nurses trying not to crumble. She reached room 207. Aubrey. Her little sister, once a giggle machine, now lay motionless on a too-white bed. Her eyes half open, lips dry, hands tucked into a hospital blanket, too large for her now frail body. But it wasn't just her silence that struck Sierra. It was the boldness. Clean, shiny, fragile. The same boldness she had turned into a spectacle that very morning. And for the first time all day, Sierra's smirk faded. She sat by Aubrey's side, unsure of what to say. Not that Aubrey was in any shape to talk. The nurse explained that the chemo had accelerated. The hair loss was recent, sudden, devastating. Their mother tried to fill the silence with hope, stories, small talk, but Sierra couldn't hear any of it. All she saw was the echo of laughter in the hallway, the photo still circulating, the hand holding up Lana's wig like a trophy. And now, this image burned into her memory, Aubrey's head, exposed, vulnerable, and real. Sierra's cruelty had found its reflection. The next day came with less noise. Students buzzed around school as usual, but something in the air felt quieter. Maybe it was the viral photo losing steam, or maybe it was the subtle shift in how people looked at Lana. She still walked alone, still kept her head low, but this time she didn't hide. No hoodie, no wig, only silence and dignity. What no one realized was that Lana had somewhere else to be that afternoon. Somewhere that made all the whispers and giggles feel small. At 4 p.m. sharp, she walked through the automatic doors of the children's hospital, past the information desk, and up the elevator to the oncology ward. She greeted the nurses with a familiarity that couldn't be faked routine to her, foreign to most. But today, there was someone new. Room 207. Aubrey. Lana didn't know her, but she knew the type of silence that filled that room. The heavy air of loss, of fear, of childhood cut short. She knocked lightly, stepped in, and placed a small box on the nightstand. Inside, a hand-crafted wig soft, breathable, lightweight, styled in gentle curls, and next to it, a tiny butterfly hair clip. Lana didn't speak. She didn't need to. She simply opened the box and with practiced care, placed the wig near Aubrey's head, then paused to meet her gaze. That's all it took. One moment of kindness, exchanged in absolute stillness. A nurse stood at the door, silently watching, breath held. Because what most didn't know was that Lana had once sat in that very bed. Not for herself, but for her sister. Years ago, Lana's older sister had battled leukemia. Chemotherapy had taken her strength, her appetite, and finally, her hair. Lana remembered the sobs, the trembling, the day her sister refused to leave the house. And so, Lana made a choice. She shaved her head. She became the mirror her sister needed, not a reflection of illness, but of solidarity. When her sister recovered, Lana kept her head shaved, not out of sadness, but as a symbol, a quiet rebellion against pity, a banner for others like her sister who felt invisible. And now, standing in room 207, she wasn't just a student anymore. She was a survivor's shadow, a quiet force of compassion. Behind the glass door, Sierra watched. She hadn't planned on returning that afternoon, but curiosity or guilt had pulled her there. What she saw undid her. No cruelty, no revenge, just Lana, gently pinning the butterfly clip into Aubrey's new wig, like she'd done it 100 times before. No spotlight, no crowd, just healing. Sierra didn't say a word. Not that day, not the next. She carried the weight of her actions, the way Lana had carried her books close to the chest, invisible to others, but impossible to ignore. Something shifted. The laughter faded. The stares stopped. And for the first time, Sierra sat alone at lunch. But she didn't care. Because what mattered now was Aubrey. She visited daily, helped with puzzles, brought stickers and coloring books. She listened to her sister's silence like it was sacred, holding space without demanding words. And then, one day, she did something no one expected. She cut her hair. Not just a trim. She shaved it all. At first, her reflection startled her. The girl who once obsessed over her looks now looked fragile, exposed. But when she walked into Aubrey's hospital room, the way her sister's eyes lit up made everything worth it. No one laughed, no one pointed, because this wasn't weakness. It was strength. The next morning, Sierra walked into school with nothing on her head but the truth. Students stared, but not like before. Some nodded, some smiled. And Lana? She watched from a distance. No anger, no pride, just quiet understanding. Because sometimes the cruelest people are just the most broken. And sometimes, a single act of kindness plants a seed no one else can see until it grows. The halls return to their rhythm. Not louder, not quieter, just different. Softer, maybe. More aware. Lana never reclaimed the spotlight. Nor did she want to. She simply existed, head held high, heart intact. Sierra, meanwhile, learned how to walk again. Not physically, but emotionally. Every step through those halls was a step through her own shame, her own healing. Not everyone forgave her. Not everyone had to. But she forgave herself. And for Aubrey, watching her big sister show up bald, imperfect, Rial was the kind of medicine no doctor could prescribe. Compassion, it turns out, is contagious. It humbles. It heals. And in rare, beautiful moments, it redeems. Thank you for watching video.